2017. Let the past die. Let's go 2018. Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore, joined as always by
Anthony Ray Bench. How's it going, everybody?
I think it's going good. Everybody, the only person here is me, so everybody is pretty much me.
I was talking to our listeners.
The listeners that are in the room with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to imagine the people that listen to our show.
Imagine listeners that are listening to this. Well, it's 2018. Last year was a mixed bag. Not so much because of the movies, and I actually had personally a good year.
Same here. Like it was kind of like the world as a whole fell apart, but personally things were looking up.
I think if I never read social media or never read the news or never watched TV, I would have had a great year.
Yeah, same here.
That's all that it takes. But we've got some great movies to talk about on the show. We're going to talk about our best and worst of last year.
We have our stupid year-end lists.
We've got some year-end lists.
Yeah, everybody does it. We're doing it too.
But yeah, so we'll be doing that later in the show. But the one thing I'm actually looking forward to is we're bringing back the Frigid 50 on Film Threat. Yes. So if you read the Film Threat website in the past, or even in the print magazine, we do a list called the Frigid 50, which is the coldest people in Hollywood. And it's sort of an antithesis to the most powerful people or the Hot 100. I couldn't stand those lists because they're all arbitrary and bullshit. So we put together our Frigid 50 list. Strange that this year, so many to choose from on Frigid 50. These are people whose careers are on the decline. These are things. Some of them are not people, but random things that are kind of on the outs. So our Frigid 50 list is going to be going up soon, I would say in the next week or two. I don't want to say a date. I don't want to commit to a date because I don't even know when this podcast is going out. But I will say that our Frigid 50 list will be on Film Threat. You don't want to miss that. That article has actually been worked on by the entire Film Threat staff for like the last 3 months.
Yeah, I pitched an idea.
Everybody's contributing ideas, so I'm excited about that. And then we're also going to be talking about some of the new films, potentially award winners. But before we get to that, we got to talk about that Film Threat's going to Sundance.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to be in Park City, Utah, January 18th through the 28th. We'll have coverage daily of films from Sundance. So you go to filmthreat.com and check out our daily coverage there. And then also we're going to be doing a daily podcast every day. Anthony and I will be interviewing filmmakers, talking about movies that we've seen, and it's I don't know, it's going to be a good time. So
the daily podcast thing, you announced that when we were recording our last podcast.
Did I tell you about it?
You did not tell me about it.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that we're doing a daily podcast. Okay.
I did a double take. I was like, huh?
So we're doing a daily we're doing a daily podcast in Park City, and we're also teaming up with Legion M on Main Street. We're going to be doing a Film Threat cocktail gathering, which if you listen to the podcast and you're going to be in Park City, Utah, you're all invited to. I'll give you details on that when I have the details. Still working out the details. But there will be a Film Threat party and event. And if you are a filmmaker, or maybe you're a publicist, you're listening to this, you want to get some exposure for one of the movies or filmmakers who has a movie playing in Park City, Utah, you can email us at filmthreatgore@gmail.com. I have like 4 email addresses for Film Threat just because I kind of retire them after a while because there's too much spam.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
You got to kind of do it. But filmthreatgore@gmail.com. Contact me if you would like to, if you're going to be in Park City, Utah, you have a movie playing there, you'd like to be on the podcast, why don't you drop us a line and let us know? We've got Film Threat ski caps. Film Threat, they'll keep your head warm, and
you're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it. So we'll be, if you appear on the Film Threat podcast, you get, what you get? You get a hat and a cup of soup with the.
We're giving them soup.
I don't know why. Yes. Well, first of all, it's cold. You're gonna want, but if you've been to Park City before, we'll do our Sundance preview episode. This isn't going to be that. But I do know that one thing I told you about is you bought some winter clothes.
Yes.
Which is weird because you don't really, you don't need winter clothes.
I'm a big guy.
You're
Chris.
a big guy. Which
is a nice way of you saying I'm a fat ass.
No. Here, you very much have a Hagrid-like figure. So,
Jesus.
What? I mean, like big and cuddly.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Hagrid from the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. All right.
What? Look, I recently started binge watching the Harry Potter films again, just because I went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal during our break. And
Still haven't been.
It's amazing.
So
it's
I
amazing.
hear.
The light show's incredible, and it's one of those things where they do like a kind of, it's not a total immersion, but it is sort of where you're in the world. They're playing the music everywhere you go. They sell butterbeer, which I highly recommend with a shot of bourbon. And then, no, I'm serious. And then,
do they sell that, or do you?
They do sell it. No,
okay.
If you go to the bar, which is like the Hogsmeade bar or whatever, like the Hogshead, Hogwart, there's a bar.
Whatever the fuck it's
There
called.
is a bar in the middle.
Yeah.
Go and get the butterbeer, hot butterbeer, 2 shots of bourbon. You're good to go.
Okay.
So highly recommend that. So what they do is this total immersion where everywhere you go, you're in even the trash cans and where you swipe your credit card, they try to make it look like you're in the world of Harry Potter. So it's not, the technology doesn't take you out of the experience. And even when you go to the bathroom, there's that Myrtle, the ghost. It's in the movies. Myrtle.
Yeah.
Is like screaming and talking to you in the bathroom.
What a lovely thing you're gonna have to deal with when you're taking a shit.
Well, no, you don't have to. But it's I quite enjoyed it. So,
all right.
but when you're in Park City, Utah, it's the one thing that they don't tell you is it's very sunny during the day. I mean, assuming it is sunny, it's warm. Like during there's snow everywhere. It could be snowing, but the sun comes out and you're hot. So you'll have a winter coat, but you'll be able to take it off to enjoy the weather during the day. It's odd. It's odd. So never
Would
thought
you
we would
recommend me bringing sunscreen?
Yes.
Yeah,
actually, you will need
sun reflects off the snow.
Yeah, it's insane. You'll get a sunburn in Park City, Utah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So we got a lot of movies to talk about. Let's plow right in there. But
Sure.
but I just want to say, so pay attention to I don't know. I think we have like Film Thread in Park City or Film Thread at Park City is the hashtag. So follow our social media, Film Thread on Instagram and Twitter and everything, and you'll see all the coverage. And there's like a bunch of writers. Matthew Passantino is going, Natalia Winkleman, Theo Shear. These are new writers that have been writing for us for a bit. Matthew's been with us for a while, and they're all going to be in Park City, Utah, providing coverage. Alan Ng is going to be doing coverage for us, among a bunch of the other writers. So daily coverage on the site. I can't plug that enough.
It's going to be awesome.
Cool. So let's get into. I was able to watch a lot of movies over the break, so we had a lot to talk about. Let's talk about the movies we both seen.
Sure. So I finally got to see I Love You, Daddy, a movie we talked about briefly.
I talked about it briefly. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about before we even started recording this. Like, do we want to get into this? Like every day, there's like a new. It's T.J. Miller. It's this. It's whoever's been accused of something. From a sexual harassment standpoint to abuse, to being a boor, to abusing their power, and I think this is definitely not done. There's more every day, but this one was one that was a real disappointment, I think, to both of us, because I've been a fan of Louis C.K.'s comedy for years.
Yeah, actually, I pitched this idea for our stupid year-end list. Like, one of the allegations that made us both disappointed, because, this is kind of, you brought up the fact that all of these allegations were kind of like, well, we saw that coming.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Some were no surprise. Like Harvey Weinstein, It's like, I'm nobody, and I knew Harvey Weinstein had like a horrible reputation.
Yeah. But some of these people we're fans of.
Right. Well, the Louis C.K. I mean,
yeah.
And so this is the question as we get into this, because we know the charges against Louis C.K. He exposed himself and masturbated in front of women. I mean, I guess he said that he asked to do that. I don't understand it, but then there are sorts of weird sex fetishes. There are people who dress in diapers, the infantilization. Yeah. There's a bunch of weird sex fetishes that if you look them up that you wouldn't believe that exist, involving bizarre things. And I just try to be non-judgmental in that situation. It's like, whatever, but when it involves someone else, right? It's one thing is something in the privacy of your own home that's a thing that you do, or within a couple relationship, there's a thing. But this, when it involves someone in non-consensual way, that is when that's crossing a line. You know, whether there's groping, touching involved or not. In this case, apparently not. But this is the question when you watch I Love You, Daddy, which was directed, written, and stars Louis C.K., kind of his ode to Woody Allen. It's very much like Manhattan, shot in black and white, has a musical score throughout that kind of, in a tone-wise, kind of feels like a Woody Allen movie. A lot like Manhattan. So how do you watch the work now without looking at these movies? Because I really think that all of these allegations, there are more that are coming, right?
Oh, yeah.
There are more that are, this isn't over. I feel like the Oscars is going to be very interesting this year.
I can't wait.
We should do a video of, like, rather than like the deaths, you know, they do like that death reel. We should do a video.
Just the career deaths.
The career deaths of just do a montage of all the people that have had these accusations.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how the Academy is going to, I mean, I guarantee there's going to be a female host. It's going to be like Ellen will be back or somebody like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They have to do something radical with that. But how do you look at the work now, and how does that impact your opinion of the work, knowing what the person did? And just to be clear, I'm someone who's never cared about anybody's personal life. Someone who I just don't care about gossip or that kind of thing. I don't know that kind of stuff. But this is different. This is a completely different level.
Yeah.
So how did that affect your viewing of the film? I talked about it, you know, before, but what did you?
You know, can
you judge it like a normal movie?
Yeah, I was able to separate myself from the controversy up until one point. There's a scene where Louis C.K.'s character Glenn is having this conversation with one of his daughter's friends, and you know what scene I'm talking about, right? They're on the couch, and he's having this conversation.
Well, you should just say what it is.
Yeah, I am. I'm just. I was asking if you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, please.
So they're having this conversation, and he makes a move on her, and she freaks out, and he basically says, "What? We're all perverts. I don't understand what the big deal is." And I was like, okay. Yeah, that kind of seems like he was writing, like, almost like justifying his own hang-ups and his own kind of...
Yeah, that line, I mean, a lot of stuff like that. There's also, there's a bunch of other sexual things that are discussed in it.
Yeah.
It's not directly his thing, although Charlie Day does do the motion of jerking off in front of when his, like... producing partner or whatever comes in. She walks in the room and Charlie Day kind of like does it like he's jerking off motion, but he has his clothes on, but he's doing it. So, but yeah, that's again, like as I was referencing before, that's like a sexual fetish that I just never, I find bizarre. Like I just don't know what the thing that is derived from that.
But I think it's just because the character that Louis C.K. plays in this movie is not creepy until that scene.
Yeah.
Like, he deals with creepy people. Like, Charlie Day's character is kind of like the horn dog, like, weird, kind of, like, what was he? Is he, like, a manager? Or, like, I can't remember. Honestly, the movie is kind of forgettable.
Yeah, that's the thing that's actually disappointing about it, is it's only interesting because
of what happened with Louis C.K.
Because of what happened with Louis C.K., and I think if you're a fan of Louis C.K., you would have liked it had this controversy.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think it would have tanked. I just don't think that there's enough in it to appeal to people. It was boring. Like, the characters weren't interesting. Chloe Grace Moretz's character, China, like, she plays Louis C.K.'s daughter in this. She is so just vapid and just irritating. She plays just this character that...
Well, she's Louis C.K.'s daughter who's kind of spoiled.
Very spoiled.
She's incredibly spoiled, so she's really not likable or sympathetic because she's able to convince him to pay for whatever she wants or to do whatever she wants.
Trips to Florida and
then she gets involved in a relationship with played by John Malkovich's character, who's this famous older director who's known specifically for getting involved with much younger women.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes, but he doesn't deny it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I want to hear your opinion because I feel like we're both lukewarm on this. But what were your final thoughts on this?
There was one scene that I kind of got a kick out of where, Chloe's character was saying stuff about being a feminist and whatnot, and Louis C.K.'s character was just like, feminist, like you can't be a feminist because you have everything. Like there is no struggle for you. Like you're white and you're rich and you get everything you want. And just that exchange and the acting was really like, her reactions were just kind of like, but really that was the only memorable thing. Like even Charlie Day, who I love, was really obnoxious in this movie. Helen Hunt was wasted in it. John Malkovich was just really, I don't know what he was trying to do in this. If there wasn't controversy, being a Louis C.K. fan, being a fan of the show, like I just thought it wasn't very good.
Well, I'm interested to see where all of this goes because, unfortunately, God, over our break, it came out that Morgan Spurlock admitted that he had, made inappropriate. I mean, was he in college or he was in college and a woman accused him of rape after they had gone out on a date.
Yeah.
And additionally, and his memory of it was different. Secondly, there was someone who worked for him who accused him of sexual harassment, and he admitted that he had made some inappropriate sexual jokes. And I know Morgan. I mean, he wrote a chapter for my film festival book and known him throughout the years. And so, this is someone that I know who's always a fun guy to hang out with at a film festival or at San Diego Comic-Con and whatnot. But, that one really hit close to home. And I don't know what is the pathway now. So he basically came out and said, look, I'm next. And then he was attacked for saying that. I feel like the conversation, there's almost nothing that a man involved in this can say without being wrong. I mean, I really think that as men on this podcast, we have to do a lot of listening at this point. I just wonder, is there any pathway back? Are you basically barred from the industry forever after one of these things comes to light, one of these accusations? And in the case of Morgan, I mean, he basically tried to explain his side of the story before the other side was given. So, and I have not corresponded or spoken with Morgan about it. I just wonder, is there a pathway back for anyone after something like this? And someone like Harvey Weinstein, I mean, by all indications, I mean, he could end up going to jail for the things that he did. So I don't know. I mean, this is an ongoing story, and it's but on,
I don't know.
On a other strange side thing, a friend of mine on Facebook who's an actor, he's also a filmmaker and producer, Billy Butler. I met him on the set of the remake of Night of the Living Dead, the one with Tony Todd and Patricia Tallman.
The 90s one?
Yeah, the one that George Romero executive produced it. But it was, there was a retelling of it, It's slightly different, right? So I played a zombie in it and whatnot, but Billy Butler, that's where I met him. He was an actor. He's an actor in that, and he'd done some other horror films and then transitioned to being a screenwriter, producer, doing low budget.
Tom Savini directed it, right?
Tom Savini directed it. Yeah. So, but in any case, so the story I'm saying is he's like, he basically posting on he's like, I'm dead. Like I've done and said all sorts of, he's always just had like an inappropriate blue sense of humor. I think that there's so much time on a film set. It's just boring. That doesn't mean that you grope somebody, but certainly, telling of inappropriate jokes is kind of like par for the course. With any just like, oh, we're waiting here we're exhausted, we're just passing time, we're like, ugh. But he did the most interesting post. All he said was the words "shut up," and it was a montage of photos of women grabbing other women's breasts on the red carpet. And some women taking hands of men and putting them on their breasts. So it was this whole montage. It must have been like 30 photos of just random, like with, and then the entire feed underneath it were comments of people posting more photos of people inappropriately grabbing each other, but like with the look of like, we're goofing and having fun. And it was mostly women to women. Right. But, I just thought that was an interesting, where he just said like, look, this is kind of people kind of touch each other inappropriately, in these festive situations. Not something I would ever do. I would feel weird about that. But like with this, it was mostly women touching each other. So whatever.
The weird thing is like, the only way that some people realize they're being inappropriate is if you tell them they're being inappropriate. But the catch-22 of that is, sometimes women and men don't feel comfortable telling other people that they're being inappropriate. It's
you know what?
Just a never-ending circle.
All I can say is this. It's a good thing we're having this conversation because this shit's not going to happen anymore. This shit's not going to be tolerated. HR departments across all these, production companies, film studios. It's like, look, this is now policy. This is over. This is ended. It's done. It's a different age. And for the better. I do hope that people loosen up at some point just to know that like, look, we can have fun and we can joke about this stuff. And it's not so much the craziness that it's evolved into. So, it's making me sad.
Well, we should move on to our next movie then.
A more positive film.
Yeah. The Greatest Showman. We both saw it.
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was, first of all, I didn't even look this up. That's a Broadway play.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Are you kidding? It's definitely a Broadway play or based on a Broadway play. But I thought that I thought that the songs were great. I thought it was beautiful. It's Hugh Jackman, who loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's really entertaining. He plays P.T. Barnum.
Yep.
And here's the thing is though, I look at that and I go, wow, I'd rather see a documentary about the real P.T. Barnum.
P.T. Barnum was an asshole.
Well, that's true. Yeah. In real life, yes. And there's abusive animals and yes.
Well,
they really sort of put a shine. So this is the idealized version. And I thought, you know what? I had fun watching it. I completely forgot about it when I walked out of the theater. And I thought, there's other more interesting things. I'd rather see a documentary about the real P.T. Barnum. That's my bottom. There's nothing else I have to say about it except that, yes, the songs were catchy, but it really was like this fantasy. It just felt very Broadway to me.
When I was little, I was obsessed with the circus.
Circus there will be no more circus.
No, there is no more circus. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. Like I loved the circus. And so in probably the 3rd or 4th grade, I did a book report on P.T. Barnum.
Can we read your book report on the Film Threat podcast?
If you can find it, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, he was not a very nice guy. He was a con artist. He didn't pay his staff very well. Just not a very good dude. And this movie, like, he's such a family guy. Like he treats people with respect no matter what they look like.
It's like it looks like that he cheated on his wife, but it's actually a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
through a photo that was snapped at the wrong time.
Yeah,
Look, it's a Broadway play because it just is glossing over the details.
Yeah. But with that said, I thought the music was okay and the songs were okay, but the choreography was fantastic. With the trapeze, like all of that was actually like practical.
I mean, for me, it did bring back memories of I went to the circus when I was a kid. I remember getting this flashlight gun that I loved.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was so excited to have this flashlight gun. I was very excited. But that movie it's entertaining and forgettable. It's like the fast food of holiday movies. All right, let's move on to the next one, which
I had more to say about
you have more to say?
Yeah. There's one
more
song.
To say?
Yes, there's one song called "The Other Side."
Yes.
Where basically it's Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman. They're at a bar, and they're doing this dance with like shot glasses and stuff.
Oh no, that was great.
That was really freaking
awesome.
cool.
It made me want to go to a dive bar and dance and get drunk.
When do you not want to go to a dive bar?
Well, that's
though?
true. That's true.
That's all I wanted to say about that one.
All right. Okay.
So you had other. We wanted to talk about Brigsby Bear.
Yeah, Brigsby Bear, which you and I saw. Now look, that movie.
It's been out for a while.
It's unfortunate. It played some festivals. It kind of came and went. But this is a movie, and this is what's funny is there's going to be all these big Oscar movies. And we're going to be all excited about these Oscar movies. We're so excited. These are the most important, the best films of the year. And then here's what's going to happen. We're going to completely forget all of those movies.
Yeah.
And then there's movies that are going to transcend all of that and that we will remember. And Brigsby Bear is one of those movies that 5-10 years from now, you're going to catch this film. You're going to say, how did I not know about this?
Yeah.
What? So it's one of the guys from SNL, one of the newer guys.
Kyle Mooney,
who you should look up his old YouTube videos, which I'm not sure if that's exactly how he got his job at SNL. He did these old, like weird, where he would go to like wrestling events and whatever, and he would just like interview people. He kind of does bits like that. They have on SNL, like tried to repeat that kind of thing that he did on YouTube. His old YouTube videos are hysterical. We're talking like they're years old.
Yeah.
Anyways, he plays this character who I mean, the opening scene is so bizarre.
Yeah.
He has these parents played by Mark Hamill and, I forget the other actress's name, but Mark Hamill is the dad, and he watches this show, Brigsby Bear. And it's kind of like Doctor Who meets like the Teletubbies. Teddy Ruxpin. It's bizarre. And then you find out that it's the only show he's ever watched, right? That teaches these lessons. And then let's just
say he's very sheltered.
He's sheltered. Well, no, you got to give it. So he's sheltered, and then you find out there's this raid, and you find out he's basically been held captive.
You're giving it away.
Okay, but this happens in the first 5-10 minutes.
I know, but it's a big twist.
It's the thing that happens in the first 10 minutes of the movie. We won't go beyond 30 minutes in.
All right.
But the bottom line is that he escapes from this, and you find out that his parents basically made a TV show that only he saw, that only he watched. So he's filled with all this pop culture knowledge and all this, like, it shows
that no one else knows.
That no one else knows. He has no point of reference to, like, if you come up to someone, you say, may the force be with you, or you say a line from Star Wars or Star Trek or anything that was popular, people know it. You have a way to connect with other people. His only connecting thing is he watched hours and hours of this TV show that was also never finished because his parents made it. And they just made it at the studio and then would show it. It was almost like him and as a baby, they stole him as like a little kid. Like he was like an experiment. They were like doing their weird art, kids show as an experiment on a child.
It's kind of hinted that like Mark Hamill's character created like a popular like toy line. And then he went crazy trying to make the next toy line. So he kidnapped a child and like basically like picked that child's brain into like what basically had the child like create like the next storyline and just went way too far with it. Like to piggyback off of what you were saying, like he doesn't know what "May the Force be with you" means. He doesn't know anything about comic books or anything like that. But he'll throw out weird things like, like we have to get the staff of Zanzibar, and we have to like get the crystal of Kakaku, and like he like speaks.
Only he knows it.
Only he knows it. But everybody else.
Yeah, but then some of the videos start leaking on YouTube. Yeah. Someone's transferring them and uploading them, and they're bizarre. This TV show's bizarre. So it has a lot to say about about pop culture, about what we're indoctrinated with in pop culture, and also the sort of love of making films and doing a project like Disaster Artist kind of delves into something of the same territory. It's not any comparison to this, but it's also the way that he does it is so low tech. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love the way that, you know, they're trying to make more Brigsby Bear because they never got to finish it.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's one of those films that, like, after seeing it just really stuck with me. It's something here. I couldn't stop thinking about for weeks after, and something that's notable as, I mean, it's on our list of the top 10 films of 2017. Which we should go through that list. Do you want to go through the list, or should we just make people go to the website?
Go to the website because we already have a list of our own.
A list of our own. Oh, in terms of, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go to the Film Threat website, there's, in our features section, we have our top 10 list of mainstream movies and top 10 indie movies. And Brigsby Bear is on that list. So one of the top 10 of these.
It deserves it. Definitely check out the teaser trailer. I think it has one of the best teaser trailers of the year and in recent memory.
Cool. All right. Brigsby Bear.
Also, I want to say something about the Blu-ray. It has a full-length episode of Brigsby Bear. It has great special features, but it actually has a full-length episode of the Brigsby Bear adventures, and it's amazing. It's great. But yeah, I think it is time for our list. Are you ready for this, Chris?
Let's hear the list.
Yeah. So I've been compiling... you know, some of our categories, if you will. First category is worst theatrical going experience. You want to start?
Wow.
Of the year.
I would say this. It was when I went to Wonder Woman and was nearly attacked because I met a friend.
I remember this, yeah.
And it was at the ArcLight.
Yeah.
And all I did was meet my friend, and I'm just like, hey, he's like, do you want popcorn? I'm like, yeah, I want popcorn. Like, I'll get this and this. And then like these people that were like a few behind got like really angry. And it was just, I don't know. Isn't that a common thing? You see your friend and you're all at the theater and then you meet. Anyways.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
In any case, the ArcLight Cinerama Dome, both sometimes the best and worst experience. But I also happen to go to this is weird. It's the Dolby Theater, okay, at AMC. And I almost never go to an AMC theater. But I went to the Dolby Theater at the Santa Anita Mall AMC, and they've got this, it's sort of okay, I've been to the iPic Theater, which are these seats, you know, they're very comfortable, which you're going to fall asleep watching a movie.
Yeah, I've seen you fall asleep.
But then there's like barely any seats. Like you're in a theater with 15 or 20 people total. They did it right here. It was a mix of, they have those kind of like reclinable seats and more room, right? But it's a theater that is more packed. So you're in the theater with maybe almost a couple hundred people, but everybody's got really nice seats. No one is in front of you. There's no like having to look with your, so that was my best movie going experience, was actually seeing Last Jedi again at that Dolby Theater. So there you go. It was just very...
So you did the best and worst. Okay.
I did the best and worst. Right. But they did. The other thing is, and I'm a sucker for this, is they served movie-themed drinks. So they had this drink.
You are a sucker for those.
Yes, I don't care. I want Revenge of the Sip, which was made with tequila. And then they had another one that was just the Blue Hope, which was a blue-based drink. I don't know what the alcohol was. I think it was probably rum. But anyways, yes, I'm a sucker for those. I want to have a Revenge of the Sip. Okay. All right. Now, what's your best and worst?
So I'll start with my worst. Going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or Volume 2. I was sitting in front of these two women that were just squeeing every time Chris Pratt showed up. Just, oh my God! Ah! It just right in my fucking ear. Just, if you're going to talk during a movie and you're not a robot or somebody who got kidnapped by mad scientists, shut the fuck up, or I will fucking hunt you down and kill you. I'm sick of it.
Okay, so the appropriate reactions are clapping.
Yes.
Laughing.
Yes.
Guffaw. Gasping. Screaming.
Yeah.
But not squeeing.
Yes.
But it was every time. But wait, he's in like the whole movie. He's
I know,
the lead
exactly.
of the movie.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. It was
right,
fucking obnoxious. Yeah, like
excessive. I think you can squee for like. I mean, Groot was pretty cute in that movie.
No.
Baby Groot is pretty cute.
No, not allowed.
No? All right.
No, I paid
but
good money.
Okay, excessive squee.
Yeah.
All right.
It was terrible. Like,
okay, now what was your best?
It ruined the movie for me.
What was your best?
Best theater going experience of 2017 was Star Wars The Last Jedi. I saw it with the perfect crowd.
Wait, was that at the Cinerama Dome?
No, I didn't see it with you. You didn't give me a ticket.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes.
Jerk. No, I saw it with the early crowd at AMC. It was like the fan event or something.
Right,
so
right,
it
right.
played an hour before. And just the crowd was really into it. Like nobody was being disrespectful. Like, you know, everybody cheered at the right times. Like
Wow.
It was just one of those perfect experiences.
Yeah, it is one of those things where it's like going to a movie in that context. Like, I love that opening night. I mean, because you know that everyone there is hardcore.
Yeah.
It's that Thursday night first screening. You're going to see that film. I mean, it is that there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, but I always get anxious about it because I'm like, I know some motherfucker is going to ruin this for me.
You are, see, I feel like you've got, like, there are people who have good parking karma. You have bad movie going karma.
I have hyper awareness, man.
I can't tell you how many times you've, like, complained to me, like, oh, I saw a guy, he was sipping really loud his drink.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
me.
He had I don't know.
Yeah.
He had a Diet Dr. Pepper, and I could hear him sipping it constantly. I will say, when I saw Last Jedi, this one guy was like crinkling. That's a thing of mine that is a pet peeve of mine. Is people that have the crinkling, like it just sort of crinkles.
Yeah.
But
I think everybody has their pet peeve. Like my girlfriend
but then
Megan.
it turned out to be a friend of mine who was sitting behind me. It's a guy that was crinkling, and I'm looking. It's like it's a buddy of mine. Like, dude, no crinkling.
And then all of a sudden, automatically doesn't bother you anymore.
No, I still was bothered.
Oh, okay. Now I know people whose pet peeves are getting their seat, the back of their seat kicked. That does not bother me at all. Like people can violently be kicking my seat.
No, it would bother you.
I don't care.
I mean, look, if I've done it, it's accidental. I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No. So our next category is biggest surprise of the year.
I'll tell you exactly what it was. A Ghost Story
Okay.
with Rooney Mara and Casey Affleck. First of all, I did not go see this film when it was in the theater originally because I don't know. It just, I think it didn't really come out.
The trailer looked terrible.
Trailer didn't look all that compelling. And I don't even know how you would cut a trailer to this film. And it's not a horror movie, which I assumed it was because of the title of the movie, A Ghost Story. It's not a horror film. It's an existential, spiritual movie about life and death and memory and love and loss. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's on our top 10 list, voted on by multiple. The top 10 lists also that are on filmthreat.com, those were compiled by everyone who writes for Film Threat said, well, these are the three that I want. These are the three. And then it was just a matter of like, well, who voted for most of these, what got the most votes? And then here's the 10. And then I put all the ones that didn't make it into an honorable mentions section. But in any case, it's directed by a guy named David Lowery, who also did the screenplay. I even if I told you the plot of this, I mean, obviously there's a tragic death and someone becomes a ghost. That's not what the movie really is. I mean, that's just sort of the backdrop for what is a somber exploration of life, death, and meaning. Like, does anything even mean anything or matter? It's the way it's told is beautiful. It's incredibly original in the way that it uses its special effects. It's shocking. It's not scary. It's not a horror film that's scary. So if you don't like horror films, this is a movie you'll definitely want to see. And actually, I believe if you like horror films, this is something that is eye-opening. So that was the biggest surprise of 2017 for me, was really just discovering this film that I can't recommend it enough. It's one of my personal favorites of the year. It was a surprise because I didn't expect to like it.
Okay. Well, my biggest surprise of the year, I'm gonna say I have 1, 2, 3, 4 because
Four surprises?
Yeah, you know what? I don't play by the rules. I can't pick one.
Let's go for it. Let's hear it.
So, as a reviewer for Film Threat, you basically get sent links. You don't have any kind of frame of
What
reference
do you
of
mean you get sent links? That's not we do get links for movies.
Yes.
Sometimes, but also we get invited to screenings.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I'm
We're
not saying
we're not,
that's all we get.
Yeah.
Let me finish.
Yes.
You're interrupting me.
Yes.
I'm saying you get links sometimes where you don't know what the movie is.
You don't know anything about the movie.
Nothing about the movie. You're going in just completely, blind.
Blind.
Yes, you're going in blind.
Yeah.
And so I came across a movie that was called Future 38. Checked it out. It was delightful. I've talked about it probably.
Yeah, you've mentioned in the podcast several times. Yeah.
Loved it. Biggest surprise. Love that movie. Check it out. Seek it out. Find it. Another movie that, as a link, didn't know anything about it. Buster's Malheart. Another great one. Find it at Best Buy. Another fun trauma one. Definitely check this one out. Hectic Knife. If you love trauma movies.
That one's coming out on DVD.
On Blu-ray, it just did.
Blu-ray, yeah.
Yeah. It's cheap. I think you can get it for $15, but definitely check it out. Greg DeLiso directed it. It's definitely worth checking it out if you love the trauma style movies. And the blockbuster one, because I wanted to throw in a blockbuster, Kong Skull Island. I thought that movie was going to suck based on all the trailers, based on everything I saw.
Right.
I thought it was a fun movie. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. We only have time for one more, Chris.
Let's hear it.
All right. The last category is movie you loved, but everyone else hated.
Oh, The Last Jedi, I think. Well, it was funny because after all those reviews came out, and boy, there's a backlash toward this film.
I love the fact that we kind of were in a bubble with that movie,
right?
And I saw the movie at AMC. I rushed over to you guys at ArcLight. Then we went over to Charlie de Lazarica's hotel room, recorded a podcast. And after the podcast, we all checked Twitter. And we had no idea. We thought everybody was going to love the movie.
Hated it, yeah.
And then, it was almost kind of jarring. I had to get used to the fact that people didn't love that movie as much as I did.
Well, I think it's a loud minority. I think it's definitely not I don't know that it's a real reflection of how people are loving or hating the film.
Yeah.
And certainly it's not hurt the box office. It's going to be...
No.
I mean, it's going to be the second highest grossing Star Wars movie next to Force Awakens. Although adjusted for inflation, nothing beats the first Star Wars. But I don't know. I feel like that's the movie I love that everybody hated.
Okay. Mine is... Okay, don't judge me too harshly. I know it's not a perfect movie.
Just go.
It's not even a good movie.
Just go.
Justice League.
What?
I think it's such a fun, delightful movie.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I am disappointed with the way that the DC universe keeps making course corrections, but they go too far in the other direction.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like Man of Steel? Well, we'll do this, and we'll do everything seems a reaction to what everybody's saying, which is really disheartening. So,
it's one of those movies where every time I saw it 3 times, and every time I saw it, I liked it more and more and more. It's just fun. It's a movie you turn your brain off and you just have fun with it. I'm not saying
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, pretty much. Although I would rather see this than The Greatest Showman.
Right. Well, look, I think it's the movie where they kind of got Superman right, but I think they've had so many false starts.
That's the best part for me.
I think they've had so many false starts with the DC universe that I don't know. I think they may do spin-off character movies. There'll definitely be another Wonder Woman movie. Because that was, it was, I think the 3rd highest grossing superhero movie of the year, Wonder Woman did well. Isn't the 3rd highest grossing movie of the year? Actually, it might be.
Maybe. Did you hear the newest bullshit rumor?
What's the newest bullshit rumor?
Warner Brothers offered Ben Affleck the entire DC creative, he would be in charge
of everything. Yeah.
That's not.
I think it's just too little, too late.
Yeah.
I feel like and this is not the first time this has happened in movie history. After the first Star Trek: The Motion Picture came out, there was a vision for that movie. It was trying to be a smarter sci-fi, more realistic sci-fi on the level of Stanley Kubrick. This came out in 1979, and the audiences did not like it. It still made a lot of money, but they didn't like it, and they completely pivoted, pretended that movie didn't happen, and just made Star Trek II with different production design, and it was just completely different vision for it, and brought in a TV producer, Harv Bennett, and then they kind of stuck with that tone for 3 movies, and then the Star Trek movies with the original series cast kind of played out, they went that direction, but it was a completely different direction than the direction that they originally started. So they've zigzagged, gone different directions, and really sort of lacked a stick-to-itiveness on the vision, or even a thoughtfulness about exactly if this was the right vision. I mean, I feel like you can't go with the dark tone with every character you have in your comic book universe. Not every character can be dark.
I agree.
I mean, there can be dark moments. I mean, there are some dark moments in, the original Superman, the movie, right? I mean, Lois Lane dies in that film. Spoiler. The first Superman movie.
Yeah, and he flies around the earth and retcons it.
Yeah, he basically retcons his own movie. So it's clever. Mm-hmm. And Man of Steel just went for this bizarre realism of mopey Superman. It didn't quite work. So I don't know. We've talked that stuff to death. We don't need to go into it now. But I think that the DC universe, they pivoted so much now. And Justice League performed so poorly at the box office. I mean, it tanked with so much market support. There's still at the AT&T store near me. They still have the big standees there. They must be contractually obligated to keep them up for a certain amount of time. They thought it would be playing through the holidays. It's ridiculous. So,
well, we'll see how they do with Blu-ray sales. I think there's still hope. I think that there's lessons to be learned. I think Aquaman's going to be coming out. I think Aquaman's the next one, and I think the response for Aquaman has been positive. So we'll see.
Yeah, I thought he was okay in the movie, but I think that all the underwater stuff was dumb. I thought it was just poorly done. It looked like a bad Sci-Fi Channel movie, and I thought the effects were terrible.
Well, they said that the tone for Aquaman's going to be kind of like Indiana Jones. So,
all right, well,
who knows?
Well, we'll see. They've said so. I feel like what they do with every DC movie, there's like damage control. It's always damage control.
It's so true.
It's like, all right, the movie's out. What damage control are we gonna? What do we have to deal with here? So, okay, well, it's a good start to the new year, 2018. It's going to be a good year. We'll have our Sundance preview special. We'll be doing that. We will be in Park City, Utah, January 18th to the 28th. So follow us on social media, Film Threat, or me at that Chris Gore. I'll probably have some personal posts on there, and daily coverage, daily podcast reports from Park City, Utah. And there's a lot of, we'll actually have seen some Sundance movies before we go to Sundance, because I have some of those screener links. I have some of those screener links for you. Shh, quiet. We won't discuss that.
Okay.
We won't discuss that further. But yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Oh, all right.